Hello everyone and welcome to Warhammer Online Return of Reckoning, the private server. Fixer Ironforge here and in for another build for the engineer. Today we're going to look at a build called the Fort Defender. It is a build that you most likely can use at funnels, at keeps and forts, and maybe in warbands, most likely like organized warbands rather than pack warbands. So, for this build, we are going to use 4 pieces of Beast Lord. This is a PvE set you can do easily. With a 6-man group, it's out on the open world, no need for dungeoning. 4 pieces, we're going to use the helmet, the shoulders, the back, and the pocket. The other 4 pieces will be Invader from the forts. So we're going to use the chest, the gloves, the belt, and the boots. For jewelry, we're going to go with the 4 pieces of the Genesis set. We're not going to use the back because we are using the Beast Lord one that has a talisman slot there for us. For weapons, ideally you want to have the Bloodlords from Bastion Stairs Dungeon. I only have this one. I don't have the offhand. So alternatively, you can use the scenario weapon, the upgraded versions, 1 or 2 of them. I'm using 1 and 1 on this example. All the talismans on the gear here, they're all weapon skill, plus 22s and 23s. The highest you can get, the better. On the weapons, we have ballistic talismans. And that's it. Now, with this, you should be able to hit, including the tactics we'll see in a minute, 1055 ballistics, including a plus 100 potion for ballistics. You have 751 weapon skill, give or take 2 or 3 points depending on the talismans you're going to add, which gives you a very nice 53.6 armor penetration. Crit-wise, on the range, we're looking at about 18%. With a total bonus damage of 227.6, which is pretty good if you ask me. And that is for the gear. I don't think it's hard to do. Invader these days are easy to get. The Beast Lord, you just need to go out with a group once the world bosses are up and you're done. For the build, we're going to be using the Path of the Tinkerer. We're going to go all the way up, all 15 points. And we're going to get pull. It's always nice on the funnel to pull people in. We're going to go for tracer rounds for the extra 15% critical damage. We don't need the keg. Remember, this is a build for a group or a warband. You should have your guard and your heal with you at all times. Trench fighting, 50% extra damage under 45 feet. Don't forget, Boundary Blast range is 40 feet, so that definitely covers us. We're going to be using that skill quite a bit. Optional extra ammo. And also, I've also put it here because 1 more point on the tree makes our abilities do more damage. You could put more points if you like to make this a little bit stronger, but I feel we should put them on the Grenadier and get Phosphorus Shells. It's also very nice AoE, very good. You know, the engineer cannot move while he's casting this, so it's good for funnels. And that's it here for the points. I don't think you need to play too much around with this. 40 renown points. We're going to take all 5 levels of the Blade Master, which gives us 120 weapon skill. And we're also going to take 4 levels of the Sure Shot for the extra critical on ranged. And that will leave you with 1 point. I personally put it on Vigor. You could put it on Initiative if you wanted to, but with already at 12.2%, you know, 3 or 4 points of Initiative won't make any big difference. But you know, I'll take 40 HP. You know, it's much. I find this to be much better. For the tactics, we're going to use Fighting Chance, which is going to give us ballistic and weapon skill, what we want. Masterful Aim for the extra ballistics. Of course, Trench Fighting, 50% more damage under 45 feet. Don't forget, we're not going out there to snipe people. We're going to be at the funnel right next to the tanks, AoEing people coming in, and Tracer rounds, which is, of course, is 50% more critical. Some of you might wonder why not Napalm and Phosphorus Shells, you know, play like that. Because Napalms, guys, don't stack. Phosphorus Shells do not stack. Only the highest one will deal damage on the spot. So even if you have 1,000 NGs and they drop 1,000 Napalms, only one is going to burn. So when you're dropping your Napalm, you're an engineer. Look at the ground. That's why I play with all effects on myself. Look at the ground, see where they are, and spread them around. So if there is a push in a funnel situation, make sure that whoever gets through will always receive damage for at least one of the napalms. One on top of the other doesn't do anything. That's the build. It's very straightforward. We're only going to be using 2 or 3 skills in this one. so it's not super difficult. So let's have a look. We're already at the dummies. As far as the turrets go, guys, you could use the bombardment one, but I would recommend to use the flame turret because that will give you extra dodge and disrupt, and it might keep you alive from all this AoE that coming in from Maguses, Sorks, and maybe some other ranged units. Now I'm gonna wait for the stacks to go up. The abilities we have bolstered right now, if you also see at the path of the Tinker, is Blast, Landmine, and Strifling Run and Friction Burn. Now Friction Burn, let me put the pet on passive for a minute. Friction Burn is a great dot, which for some reason I failed to apply. Anyways, so the other abilities we have here, let me try this again. Ah, there we go. Okay, just there we go. So it's doing about 900 damage right now. Auto attack is a 1.3. That is the white number, you know, when it crits. So it is, just as a dot, is good. It's frontal, by the way. So that means that it will deal damage to everybody in front of you. Now let's put the pet on aggressive. The other spell, of course, the landmine, is not going to explode here because there's no enemies. Damage don't count. But you can use it. The next one would be Strifling Run, which is the AoE punt. Now look at the damage it does. That is 1.9, 1.941 for a Strifling Run as damage, almost 2000 damage. And then the other spell we have is Blast, which I'm gonna deactivate the turret on passive so we can see the damage from the Blast. It's at 1.3, 1.2k per shot, almost. Pretty constant. As you can see here, in all 4 targets, we're shooting all 4 targets at the same time. Now, the extra ammo tactic, you could potentially take out, you know, maybe the critical if you don't want it so much, so you can sustain this a little bit more. Now, Blast is a skill you can use on the go. So, in a warband, you will be able to just run around and shoot if needed be. And the damage is pretty decent for an AoE at 40 feet. And I know it's a little bit boring as far as builds go, but the damage, as far as I can tell, in my opinion, for a skill like that, is pretty amazing for the funnel. Showing a little bit more numbers. Damage goes up as the stacks from the turret go up as well. They're about 1,000, now it's climbing up. 1.2, 1.25, 1.3. You know, it depends how well you're going to crit or not. So, that's the build, ladies and gents. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this. If you have the gear, give it a shot. If you manage to do it and you play with it, give me some feedback. Let me know what you think about this one. And before we go, because I almost forgot again, morals. Morals, we're going to use concealment for dodging all range attack and disrupt, of course, you know. Help us stay a little bit longer alive on the funnel from all the Sorks and Maguses and all that shooting, or maybe Squiggies. Armor, if they break through, you need to support your party, your melee at the front lines. Cannon Smash, I never change that myself because it's a nice finisher. You might see a healer at the back, you want to nuke him. And finally, as always, Hell of Doom, which I feel is the best one in the game. However, you could, instead of taking the 1 point for the extra ammo, you might want to take Fling Explosives. That way you have an alternative and 1 more point on the Tinker Tree, making your spells a little bit stronger as well. So, that's the build, guys. I hope you're going to give it a try. Let me know what you think about this one if you tried it. And I'll see you on the next tutorial. Take care.